Now, as for the country itself, as for its government, Ander is nominally a monarchy. I say nominally because, while it does have a king, most of the kings so far have been have consulted with the religious leaders of the Torsetti Church, which is the biggest church in Ander, as to their policy decisions and such, and so it's very similar to a monarchic theocracy, if that makes any sense. The kingship is not transferred between two people who are father and son. Rather, the king chooses their successor. At least they do in modern times. So it's much more similar to the Emperor of Rome in that regard. Punishment is generally pretty powerful, or pretty big. Heresy is currently a crime in Ander because it's a very religious state, even though it's not technically supposed to be run by the church. Heresy is still a crime. And the legal system is considered by many to be the most important thing. Although religion ranks close second, and who's actually king is third. In order to be a part of the legal system, you have to be able to read, write, you have to know the local laws, you have to know legal history, the standard sort of things, in order to be a magistrate, or in order to be a barrister who represents people in court. There are corrupt magistrates and barristers, but the chief magistrate's office in the capital of Thenon does conduct reviews to try to keep corruption at a minimum. They acknowledge that it's going to be impossible to wipe it all out. An interesting thing is that barristers and magistrates cannot deal with their own family in court. If your village only has one magistrate and you're his son and you have to go to court, you have to go to court in a different town, or your dad has to bring somebody else in to be the magistrate, because those rules have basically been set up to prevent people from taking advantage and stuff. There are several major cities in Ander. The biggest ones are Thenon, which is the capital, Dureth, which is a holy site, and it's sort of similar in importance to the Torsetti Church as Avignon was while the Pope lived there. Then there's Larthas, which is one of the largest ports, or rather the largest port. It's basically the commercial center of the kingdom, although Thenon comes close. Let's see, what else is there? Kelon was the pre-Torshite religious center. There are temples to not forgotten, but temples to no longer worshipped gods dotting the city quite liberally. And there are other cities like Belfarn, which is the center of the Fortress Ridge. It's basically the first line of defense in their northwestern corner. A little bit more on names before I go. Andarian names do consist of the three parts, the given name, the patronymic, and the family name. And in addition, every king chooses, king or queen, there have been a few queens, everyone chooses a regnal name. That's a word that I don't know how to pronounce. But anyway, um, popular ones have included Keirus, which is the main hero of an epic along the lines of Beowulf or Gilgamesh. Yorndan, who was a god of the oceans. Kjarn, who was the son of an ancient warrior queen. Naknash, who was that warrior queen, and whose name has been the only one used by queens. Other than that, there's a lot of stuff that I still haven't covered, and probably won't unless I get requests to go into the history of these countries. But that's a basic rundown on Ander. I really had a lot of fun with this because I got to use Scandinavian pronunciation a lot. I'll talk to you later.